Call the August 14th utilities meeting Mr. Shake Snyder, could you lead us in prayer, please?
Dear Lord, we thank you for allowing us all to come together tonight to do the business of the parish and the great parish of Ascension. We thank you for everything you've given us. We ask you to give us a little bit less heat in the next few days so that we can move forward and people can then get back to a normal life. We ask that you allow us to make good decisions on these important items that go throughout parish government, and also that you allow everyone here tonight to get home safely. We ask all this in your name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. All our members are present. We have a 2/3 to put on. 2008-2009 LCBDG grant application.
Move to add to agenda.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Shake Snyder, second by Mr. Savoy. Any opposition? Motion carries. We'll take that as 4A. Public comment period. Anyone wishing to speak, please sign a speaker card with the secretary. For Country Ridge update, Mr. Sigler, do we have any update? Could you?
No, sir, we really do not. Jeff is here with MWH. His contract is in legal, and I thought I would hear back this afternoon, and I did not, but I was tied up most of the afternoon, pretty tight. So I expect for that contract to be available later this week for it signed to get him underway.
Okay. Any questions, concerns? Mr. Salvo.
No, we approved it at the last meeting, correct?
Right.
Did we approve this at the last council meeting 2 weeks ago? Okay.
It's been through council. I don't know if
It's been through council. I don't know if it was last meeting
Is there a problem or hold up at legal?
It's in legal right now. I am unaware of a problem or holdup. All I know is it has not come out of legal yet. I made a call this morning, and I did not get called back this afternoon, so I don't know exactly where it is.
Okay.
I'd really thought it was out of legal.
That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments, concerns, questions? Thank you, Mr. Sigler. 4A, 2008-2009 LCBDG grant. Ms. Collins. It's actually grant application.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. We're here tonight to basically ask permission, the council's permission to move forward with the LCDBG for this year. As you know, we can only have 2 active accounts with the state, so this one will be probably won't be for another year or 2 years before it is. And so what I'd like to do is have Roberto kind of explain what we're doing here tonight, and there's a resolution following behind it.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, as you know, LCDBG does their grant cycle of applications every 2 years. For the fiscal year of 2007, the parish received a grant for Lemonville. So now is the time to start planning for the cycle of 2008 and 2009. The first step, of course, is to hold a public hearing to see what the citizens of the parish would like to apply for. In the event that there's no input from the citizens, of course, the utility committee and the full council would select the project or projects. You are eligible to apply for 2 types of grants. However, keep in mind that while you have one open, you can only receive 1. At the present time, we have the Hillerville project open. That is scheduled to be completed in early spring of 2008. And then we have Lemonville that is just starting. We won't go into construction until about that same time in 2008. So this application process starts December of '07. You have to apply for those projects in '07, and then you'll be eligible for perhaps, successful for 208 and then maybe 209.
I'll offer that motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Salvo. Any questions, comments? Any objection? Motion carries.
Thank
Discussion,
Mr. Chairman, the resolution will be submitted as far as the Utilities Committee at the next council meeting for us to apply for. It's there also.
Mr. Ryan?
That's okay, that's okay.
Okay.
That's it?
No, thank y'all.
Okay.
Number 5, Comprehensive Wastewater Treatment Plant Update, Kent Israel, URS.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. URS has reviewed the plans as submitted to the parish and to the Corps of Engineers on the East Bank wastewater treatment plant. We have given our comments back to the parish and to the Corps of Engineers for their further handling. And at this time, if somebody has questions about the wastewater treatment plant, we have members of our staff who are here to answer any questions that y'all may have.
Mr. Thompson?
Have we secured a site yet?
Mr. Thompson, I believe the parish planning is handling acquisition of the site.
Mike Cohen with BASF will be at the next meeting, or council meeting later this week, to say that we've got that site. We was going to be here previously when we had scheduled to put this on the agenda, and we put it off because we had some discussion that need to take place between URS and the Corps as a part of this process.
We have spent a couple of $1 million on planning and getting ready to do this comprehensive system, and BASF committed to the property, and it looked like it's been a holdup because they hadn't really signed it over to us yet.
Well, in their defense, when we met with them, and it was a very good meeting, from their standpoint, it's been an on-again, off-again proposition 2 or 3 times over evidently several years. And they are looking for us to commit in the form of a plan with some dates on when we will utilize that. We talked about an agreement that said we would start construction within 36 months. I think that's been drawn up now. And they want a copy of our business plan of what we plan to do, at least in phase 1. We've shown them that. He wants to make the presentation on tonight that we will adopt a business plan.
Well, when we put out and spend that amount of money developing a plan and a project, it's not an on and off again project.
Well, I think their comment was, and that's not a reflection on anybody sitting here. I think this is years ago when evidently at some point in the past there have been previous plans that never were finally adopted.
Well, they're
Because
either going to donate
so
the
I don't know.
property to the parish,
Right.
we need to go out and look for property to buy.
No, they're
to move
donating the
forward.
property. My understanding is they're donating the property to the parish, assuming that we're going to begin construction within X number of months. And it's 36 is the amount, is the number that we've talked about.
My suggestion is have them at the next utility meeting.
Well, they're going to be here they're planning on being here at the council meeting to make that
Thank you.
offer. And the reason they have not appeared is because, quite frankly, from our standpoint, we weren't really ready for them to make that offer at that point.
Anything else, Mr. Thompson?
No.
Mr. Salvo?
Yeah, Mr. Ron, you saying that representatives from BASF is going to be at the next council meeting, which is
Supposed to be
this
at this
Thursday?
council meeting on Thursday.
We're no closer today, or we will not be no closer Thursday than we were the last time that it was on the agenda to move forward with this right here. I do not believe we are.
Oh,
So,
there's been a lot to take place between the last time we met and we've met with BASF. We met with Shell. We've met with everyone on the sewer effluent outfall line. Gotten some good ideas. Gone back and changed some of the design drawings on the expected new path instead of going down the highway and facing a bunch of pipeline problems in the railroad track. Now we're looking at going cross country where we won't affect traffic at all and that type of thing.
I'm sorry, but I was not talking about the physical infrastructure. I'm talking about the council and the direction this parish is going to go. Because this document here dictates that if we move forward, we're going to have to put serious dollars from the general fund, the 1 cent general fund, into this program here, this project. That's what we need to know. And we have not been updated on the latest. There's still some issues out there, according to Mr. Israel. There's still some issues out there that's being talked about that we haven't heard anything about. That's what I'm saying. I think we're setting ourselves up again not to be prepared to move forward come Thursday.
Well, I think one of the reasons for the meeting tonight, and one of the reasons it's on the agenda, is we've had a couple of meetings between ourselves, URS and the Corps, us and the Corps, and I think now we all have a very good understanding that we're very comfortable with. And if you want to ask Kent questions or any of the URS people about what their objections were and their differences in the Corps' plan and our view on that, we're prepared to speak to it, either myself or Bob or whoever you'd like to call on at this time. And I think Kent, we had the meeting yesterday, Councilman Shakespeare was able to make later in the afternoon, and he got, I think, a pretty good idea of what we're talking about and what the differences are. And the best I can explain it is, as we've said from the beginning, it's a living document. And I don't think anyone has any disagreement in Phase 1 implementation. There was a little disagreement between URS and the original Corps proposal and what would happen towards the end of Phase 1. When we have 2 SBR units up running, would we need a additional catch basin facility, an equalization tank, with one side saying that we felt like we might need one and the other side saying we don't need it. And as it's a budget neutral item, since it's something we're going to use in Phase 2 anyway, it's Bob's my opinion that it doesn't make any difference. You go ahead and build the thing because it doesn't make any effect on your budget whatsoever. You build it 1 year early or you build it 1 year late. But in the big scheme of things in this project, it's not a real important item whatsoever in terms of cost. There's a possibility that at some point, as things will change where we move sewer lines, part of this document and part of the idea behind this is as we learn more, there'll be research going on continuously about what areas need to be turned on first. As we do more research on the individual plants that are out there, we're committed to doing Bayou Goudin first, but it may be that the second one we thought was going to be in line may not be the one once we start doing this research, that there's a more pressing need in the third area. This thing will change periodically. We'll be updating it every 6 months to a year, what direction we're going. It may be Phase 2 comes online a year early or a year later. But this is a big 20-year project. There will be a lot of change from time to time. Overall, from a budget standpoint, nobody thinks that we have a budgetary problem based on the $40 a month at this point for anything we've seen. We think it's very doable.
Okay, then what do we need to move this project forward in 2008? I see a chart here where you're saying you need $500,000 for 2007. We should have that.
That's not a problem.
2008. What's the project need from the council and from the general fund for 2008?
We are, depending on how we address that number is going to vary in the next. By the meeting on Thursday, I can give you a hard number. We're waiting on some numbers on starting up a sewer department. But if you'll remember, Phase 1 is heavily dependent upon federal funding, and basically our biggest cost is going to be doing the survey of the individual plants out there and setting up a sewer department to service what we already have and new subdivisions as they come online.
the first phase. We can call on
Phase 1A.
If the Corps wants to come up, they can, or unless
Sure.
you won't have. What's the first phase? What's the cost of the first phase?
Total cost,
Yeah,
42.
42 million.
That's built the plant, running the first bunch of trunk lines, and the effluent lines to the river.
$42,990,000 for 20 years. Okay, the interest rate is saying is 2.95 per year.
Right.
Is this hard numbers?
Well, that's a very good question. When we met with DEQ and DHH, as you know, the interest rate are historically low. Congress has recently passed $1.4 billion for state revolving loan fund. So when we met with them, the rate that they quoted us 2.45 and 0.50 for maintenance fees, which is their fees to monitor the state revolving loan program, which is net effective fee of 2.95%. As you know, several years ago, when the facility plan was prepared, they used 3.95%. So the cost of $42 million based on the interest rate of 2.95%. They are very favorable. They're willing to work with us. However, they're only going to close the loan when we submit all the documentations, the pre-application, grant applications, 100% plans and specs. They don't want to fund the project in piecemeal. So one of the things we would like to do is to get this wheel in motion. It may take another year before we were able to get all the documentations and all the necessary things that they need to have to close the loan. But right now we have the historically low interest rate. It's still at 2.45. As you know, that things could change and go higher up. You know, you go from 2.45 and let's say we wait for another year and a half to decide it may go 4.5%. Cost of the project may double. So $42 million based on 2.45. Another thing about this plan is that not only that it gets state revolving loan fund in motions. As you see, there's a lot of different funding sources, a lot of different bills are passed. And once you have a plan ready, you can go to congressional delegation and say, look, we have so much money coming from DEQ, but we need to implement this comprehensive wastewater plan. And once you have plan in motion, we will be doing a first phase of treatment plan, which is 1.5 MGD. The built-out treatment capacity will be 10 MGD as the population comes along it. It allows you to provide a plan to your congressional delegation, federal government, Army Corps of Engineers, rural utility districts, so that we have the plan in motion. So what I say is that interest rates are historically low. I mean, they cannot go lower than that. Parish has to borrow the money, and this would allow us, as Ron says, a living document. Things gonna change, the population shift, and once we adopt it, we would be better positioned to move forward and start securing those grants, start putting those paperwork, applications, and things like that.
My main concern is I want to know what the parish can be obligated to in year 2, 3, and 4. Are we talking about possibly going out and trying to get $42 million on revolving loan? Is that what the administration is talking about doing? I don't know. Does anybody know? That's the type of things that we need to know. I mean, are we gonna approach it?
We're going to have to feed. We will have to. The parish will have to put additional money in initially because there won't be a big enough customer base when we first start up a sewer department to subsidize to pay for all operations of the sewer department. But by about year 3 and 4, we start bringing enough customers to where that thing starts funding itself. We have enough customers. You have to have a big enough customer base to pay the overhead. And the reality is, the first 2 or 3 years, we probably will not. It depends on how quickly we pick up other independent systems that are out there. Depends on how quickly some of these subdivisions that are newer, that if we pass the regulations that say that in the future that all new sewer treatment plants come to the parish instead of to an outside operator, that number will reduce substantially. But in the meantime, until we get that critical mass reached with a number of customers, we will have to put some money into the system.
On the $42 million for phase 1, do we have monies included in that 42 million to take care of the private systems that we're talking about taking over? Or is that additional monies that we're going to have to look for?
One of the things that it is very absolutely critical as Parish has to get the great deal of understanding of how many systems they have, what stage, what capacity are. Some are in the good condition, some are in the failing. You would not have a grasp of the total cost until, as Ron said, first thing you do is you inventory all your septic system or private system and see it, and then only you would know how much it's going to cost it. So the answer to your question, that as I don't believe the $42 million does include going out and buying those systems. You don't know what stage they are. Some are in good condition and treating very well. Some are not. So one of the first thing as this plan get into motion, as we try to get the loan funding, is to go in very quickly, inventory all the systems, see what the mechanical equipment, how they're doing, what the conditions they are. So, and without that, it'll be just throwing out the number in the sky, not knowing exactly what the extent of it. Another thing I want to kind of correct myself or further, we're not taking $42 million loan on day one. As the contract process, we're going to submit contractor invoices and then get the loan. So interest wouldn't be charged from the day one on $42 million. As you move forward, the project move forward, as the money being drawn and all those things. So it's kind of somewhat of a fluid situation. So, how much money Parish has to put it in depends upon how you let the projects out, what would be the cost of the project for that month, things like that. But eventually, at the end of the phase one, it'll be a $42 million.
I asked these questions, I got many more, and because it's not the first time I sat around this table going over a comprehensive wastewater project. All right, I know some of the concerns when it gets to the full council before passage. The full council is going to ask these questions, so we just going to try to get some of these answers tonight or before we bring it to the full council. Another one is, question was brought up, what about the individuals that are mandated to put in a MODAD at a cost of $2,500 today? And next year, 2 years, 3 years from now, we're going to go with that. We're going to send sewer lines through there, and by state law, they're going to have to tap into ours. How are we going to handle that? And that's a council question.
That's council.
Okay, but that has been a serious issue the last couple of times that comprehensive wastewater has been brought up. That's something, how are we going to handle it? Are we going to prorate them as far as give them some type of cut or something? Because we're mandating them to put a $2,500 MODAD, and then we're going to come a few years right after and mandate that they tie into our new system. How are we going to handle that situation? So far as the $40 a month, it has been our attempt to keep it at a $40 a month. I would like to see a breakdown on the $40 a month so I can feel a little better about supporting it, and that it's going to be $40 and we don't implement it and we start tying in and find out that it's going to have to be $60 or $75. That needs, this council is going to ask those questions. We just soon ask them now, okay? Because that's the bottom line concern, is what's the bottom line to the user, okay? I'm hearing today that $40 is sufficient, okay? I haven't heard that in the past, that $40 would be sufficient without some other subsidies or something like that. So that's just some questions that's going to come up. Are we ready to bring this to full council on Thursday? Unless someone sat in some meetings that I'm not aware of and they know more information and got more data and information than I got, I don't think we are, to tell you the truth. I think there needs to be some workshops, unless somebody can shed light on some of these, exactly what we're doing here. Okay, and look, I'm not trying to stop this. I want to move this forward, but I know the obstacles that you're heading down without more information on the table.
Well, I think it's good that we're having this discussion, and as you know, for the last 3-4 months, we've been trying to come out and all those things. Obviously, there are a lot of questions that needs to be answered. But in principle, as we have said, it is the accumulation of all the documents that were prepared, the need of Parish having a treatment plant, effluent pump station, collection system, that is included. It shows the different funding sources. Now, next year, who knows, you can get $3 million from STAG money and $2 million from some other sources, and court put $1 million. You may not need to have a lot of other things. It's very difficult to anticipate at that time. What we try to do is try to put a best estimate of things. We don't know where the sources and things are coming in. It's just the feeling is that the momentum is building up, the things are start falling into places. It's a huge program. I mean, I understand your concern and question. I mean, once you vote, and you have to have a complete confidence on this $184 million program. But need of this program couldn't be denied, and as I'm saying, is requesting it. As the interest rates are low, the BASF, another thing that I can probably further it. Mike Cohen is very excited. He said he doesn't have to go to Germany. He can donate the property as long as it's been used for the wastewater treatment plant. He wants to work with the parish. The DHS and DEQ, they're calling us and they say we would like to work with the parishes, and once they see things are happening, they're probably going to be more lenient towards other issues with enforcement and septic systems and all other things are going on, because they know that parish is proactive. So having said that, I think this is probably a good time. So many funds are available. When you go to a congressional delegations, one thing they said, did you spend the money that we gave you last time? I mean, well, you can say, yeah, we did, but look, we want to build this 10 million gallon plant. We already put $6 million, and you're showing your commitment there. And so, questions going to be come up. I wish I know all the answers, or we know all the answers, but and we can spend another 6 months, detailing this report and all those things. It's a living document. It's going to change constantly as we understand all these things. One thing we promise is that we should be able to answer all the questions. You have to have a satisfaction and complete confidence in this plan before you vote for it.
Okay. As far as a revolving loan, it was said that you do not start paying until you implement it, until you hook up.
Close the loan. So first year, let's say 2009, you did first phase, so you're only paying for the construction for that year. So you're not paying the loan on the very first day. It's a construction loan, just like in your house, you take construction loan, or builder take construction loan. You're only going to pay interest on what he's withdrawing from the bank. So you're not taking $42 million. And I believe our plan is called for 3 years, 2009 to 2011 construction, all those things. So you'll be paying over 3-4 years period. The cash situation is until you have all three part of that phase one implement, which is the treatment plant, affluent pump station, and Great Goodine collection system. You cannot bring any subscriber. You cannot bring anybody. So initially you have to spend money. Once you spend the money, you have a system in place, kind of allows you to bring in people, exponentially increase the customer base. We can talk about all other things, but different municipalities has access fees, impact fees, user fees, whatever it is, a combination of that we can look at. But initially, for first 3-4 years, is the majority of it that it's a parish is doing it, but you're not closing, you're not paying interest. Principal is not due 2 years after the close of loan. A very favorable condition. Interest is due, way after you close the loan. So I've never seen such a good interest rate offered there. They have money. They're sitting there money. They have the kind of money that we're looking for it. So it's not going to be piecemeal, different funding sources, try to trap in all those things. It's a one shot. You're dealing with the same people. You take care of all your environmental documents or whatever the documents once it for all. They'd like to see the overall plan because, as I said, that they want to piecemeal. And I think it's a very positive thing. I mean, I'm not sure whether they have the same offer 2 years from now. I don't know. Administration changes in the government and their overall philosophy about how environmental things changes as the new government comes in picture. Right now, this is what the head of State Revolving Loan Fund, the Clean Water, met with us, and they want to work with us. So.
And the reason why I'm asking that is because on the handout that we've gotten here, it talks about the state revolving loan process begins June '07, 9-month process. It says loan debt service is $3 million per year, and it says principal and interest repayment begins in 2009. Are we saying that we will be complete by 2009?
Well, what we are saying is that we have to, before the construction go out, I believe, and we made about 8-10 presentation. Before you sign a contract with the contractor, it'll be a year and a half from now. So that's what it is. So it'll be 2009. We're talking about August, September here. In the best case scenario, the application would take 8, 9 months, 10 months. You bid the job, 3-6 months to sign a contract. So early 2009, January, I guess, when you start drawing the money, and that's where.
All right, I understand that. So you're saying this is just a concept?
Right.
That's it?
Right.
Okay.
It's a pretty intelligent concept, but we would not know unless, it's just like you try to buy a $200,000 house and you go to a different lender and you see what the different condition, the different rate, and they kind of give you a good faith hard estimate. But until you go in and close the loan, you don't know exactly. It is pretty close to that based on, we've made a considered effort. We don't want to give council information that is not true at this point. So yeah, it's a pretty rough estimate, but it's pretty accurate in our assessment. And URS is looked at. We got 5 comments in the business plan. Most of the comments are very basic. We already incorporated that. We're planning to bring in. Now they have a comments on the other things, but as far as the comprehensive business plan, the document we prepared, we have 5 and 6 comments, and we already incorporated those comments. So it's just pretty.
I see here where they say fiscal year '08 Parish to budget $1.5 million. All right. Can we? That's where I guess we need our financial team here.
You need to when you see that number, you also need to include thinking that this includes all the projects like Lemonville, A-Bend, all the other smaller sewer projects we're doing now. From now on, in this comprehensive plan, everything is thrown into that from now on. So when you think about those numbers, like these construction projects we're doing right now, in the future, all those are included in those numbers, and that includes Lemonville and A-Bend. And we've got a pretty good lead on some money for both of those now that are included in those numbers. And it also includes numbers for us to maintain some of these other plants we think we'll probably inherit pretty quickly. Part of the cost of this deal is that on a rather rapid basis, as soon as a business plan is adopted, is a series of ordinances that we will need to pass that will deal with, number one, setting what the rate's going to be. Is that rate going to be universal to everybody in the parish, which it probably needs to be? How much money is that going to generate? That money goes back into the system. All these new subdivisions, assume we pass an ordinance that says that all new package plants become the property of the parish to maintain and operate, which we strongly suggest that we do. For a limited period of time, 4 or 5 years, just as they are to the private guys that are operating them right now, they'll be a good deal for the parish because they're new, and we'll make good money off of those. Long term, no, but short term, yes, that helps feed the kitty to get things off the ground. So it's a pretty complex, really fluid situation for the first 3 or 4 years. I have no doubt that the parish will have to feed that system with some additional money for the first, 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 until we get enough customers in the base to make it run itself. But I don't think any of us thought it was going to be real cheap to start with.
That's all I got, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Salwa. Mr. Shake Snyder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think I appreciate Ron, the meeting we had the other day, and I'd like to get URS is working for the council in checking facts and figures and backing things up and everything, and that's our system of checks and balances and everything. And I'd like to hear from them on the view from URS for the parish. The physical plant itself. Early on, there was discussion. We had some reservations about the physical plant, and we had a meeting yesterday, and I think a lot of things were cleared up, and I think some small changes were made. Could you explain that and what has happened and how you stand now about the actual physical plant?
Mr. Herb Miller from our Metairie office explained it.
Thank you, Councilman. Basically, our concern with the physical plant was that the way it is designed right now, if one of the units were to go out of service for either maintenance or for some other problem, you would not have any place to store the wastewater as it came in during the other treatment plant cycle. If you think of your plant today as it is designed, think of it as two washing machines. One of the machines fills up, treats the wastewater. While it's filled up, it can't accept any more wastewater. But the other machine, the other basin, is over there accepting the wastewater. And that process will work fine as long as both of the two units are operational. When one unit goes out and the other one is full and operational, there's no place to bring the wastewater. So what we recommended to do was to build a third basin as an equalization basin that would allow you to store the incoming wastewater in between these two cycles, so that you would have the opportunity then to, at all times, even if one unit was out of operation, to be able to take the wastewater out of the collection system and it wouldn't back up into the system. This third basin, you're eventually going to build a third basin as the plant expands, so you would build this third basin of the same size as what you would need in the future. And that way, in the future, when you go to expand the facility, you already have that part of the basin done. So you're not adding any additional long-term costs, although there will be an initial additional cost for building this equalization facility.
And with that, then the design and the type of plant would be very adequate.
Yeah, we never questioned. Yes, sir, Mr. Scheck-Snyder. We've always said that the type of treatment process will work. There was never a question about that. We do have some concerns that we would like to see evaluated after you build the first phase as to whether there are other types of wastewater treatment of conventional activated sludge type processes that may be better for additional phases. But as far as the first phase, our recommendation would be to continue with what you have right now. You're ready to go. Go ahead and build it. It will work. Add the equalization basin to provide you protection in case their unit has to go out of service for any reason. And then during that period, while that plant is coming up to snuff, if you will, coming up to its flow capacity, add in an evaluation, do an evaluation to see if you want to continue with the SBR process or go to some other type of conventional activated sludge treatment.
Okay. The other thing is the financial plan. Can you give us a rundown on?
Yeah, I think we were essentially fine with the financial plan. As was noted, there were 3 or 4, maybe 5 comments. They were very minor in nature. The plan itself, I think we found to be adequate.
All right. From your opinion, we can finance this through the financial situation of the parish and projected monies that we can look to down the road by all the various means that they talked about.
Yeah. Again, all the financial plans, as has been pointed out, are based on assumptions with regard to interest rates, parish growth, etc. We feel those assumptions are reasonable, but nobody has a crystal ball. If those assumptions are correct, then yes, we would agree that the parish could support. It's always a game. You never know what interest rates are going to do. But based on current information, we believe the financial plan is sound.
All right. Now, I know you've been involved in municipal waste for a while, wastewater for a while. In fact,
Quite
you
a while,
taught
sir.
at school. What other questions do we need to have answered at this point in time in order for us to make a good enough decision to move forward to the next step, which would begin
in relation
to implement?
To
I mean,
the treatment plant
or
or
there,
the
on
financial
anything on this
Yeah.
project, what
I think
are there some unanswered questions that we need to know about in order to move forward with phase one.
Well, I think Councilman Savoy obviously had some questions. They need to be answered to his satisfaction. We're satisfied with the financial plan as currently laid out. From the plant standpoint, we would again recommend you add that additional third basin, and that during this period where you're constructing the plant and looking towards future expansion, you simply evaluate other treatment alternatives, which would allow you, by the way, to continue to use these same basins. So even if you were to go to another type of treatment, of another type of activated sludge process, you would still be able to utilize these existing basins. So we don't see any real downside to proceeding now with plans that are already done. If you were to go back and do something else, you're delaying the process, delaying design, but you could still, as I said, in the future, utilize what you have now. It's just an analysis. The analysis may come out and say continue with SBR. We don't feel that analysis has been done.
Okay. I agree with Councilman Savoy. There's going to be a question about MODADs coming up, whereas people are putting in plants right now, and then they're required to tap into the parish system. However, no matter when we do this, we can do it now, we can do it 5 years from now, we can do it 10 years from now. There are people that are going to have to tap into the parish system that just put in their own system. It's just a fact of life. If they would have done it in 2001, I think when we had planned on doing it, they would have had to tap in. If they'd have done it in the 70s and 80s, when the government, the federal government, was going to put 95% with the state of the plan, we would have had that same problem. So as I look at it, I think that's our decision, that we need to take that and realistically look at a prorated plan for the age of a new MODAD system or whatever, and I think that's something we can come up with between the council and the administration. But it's no use to do something like that until we commit to a plan. Basically, all the questions, same thing with the $40 rate, until we commit to a plan and start moving forward. I don't think anybody has a crystal ball to see exactly what it's going to be. And your best case scenario is, I think we have some pretty good information. The people that we hired agree with the people that had done the study that that is the figure that we're at right now, and that's all we can do. I think we're at a point right now we either have to make a commitment or don't. And until we make a commitment to move forward, all of these other questions are not going to be answered. And I had some reservations because of the physical design. There was questions that the people that I talked to in the past, those reservations have been satisfied for me. I think that at this point in time is I've done a lot of investigation, and they're adequate, and they're going to be a good plan for the parish. I think the financial plan is as good a plan as you can do in predicting something that's going to be a 20-year project that's ongoing change. And I think we need to make a commitment. And after we make a commitment, then we need to start solving the other problems that we have. I see no reason for BASF to make a commitment to give us the land until we make a commitment to do the project. And I understand their position. I've spoken with them, and they said as soon as we make a commitment, they're ready to commit to the land. So I don't think that has held us up at all. I'm ready to move forward. We can postpone this because it's something that, because I have a MODAD in the back of my house, which I do, I can get by for the next few years. But realistically, in this parish, for us to move forward, for us to bring in businesses in a responsible manner and proper development, you have to have a sewer system. At some point in time, I do not want the federal government to come in and say on the Pontchartrain Basin Foundation, you need to clean up all your sewage and it's incumbent upon the parish to do that. And so I think we need to be proactive and move forward with this plan. And they've answered my questions, and I'm ready to move forward with it from here on out with the business plan. And I'll agree with this.
Any other questions, comments, concern?
I make a motion that we accept the business plan as presented and move forward with the steps that it would take to implement phase 1 of the project.
Motion by Mr. Shakespeare. Do we have a second?
I'm a second.
Second by Mr. Salwar. Any further discussion? Any opposition to the motion? Motion carries. Number 6, jail sewer contract update. Planning Director, Mr. Sigler.
Two things. Before we talk about the jail, I'd like to announce that we opened the jail sewer. We opened the bids for the jail today. They came in substantially less than we had originally envisioned, with a total cost on the jail itself of a little less than $5 million. It's 4.97 something with all the add-ins and addendums. In terms of the jail sewer, we're currently finishing up the right-of-way maps. Ray Davizak will report back to me on Friday morning, and I will issue an email after that to see exactly what percentage he feels like he is complete. But the last time I talked with him, we felt like we'd be out for actual bid on the sewer portion, which is running all the way to Donaldsonville, sometime in the end of this month, the 1st of September. I haven't heard anything otherwise, so I assume that's still a good date. We met today with environmental folks so that we can begin moving the ditch sometime next week. We've got environmental evaluation, and they filed the permit stuff today with the Corps of Engineers. So we are ready to move forward with moving the ditch next week. We think that's going to take about a month, which would make the site open for October the 1st, which is the date we told we'd have it ready for the contractors to start actual construction.
Mr. Salwar.
What was that bid that came in for the jail, Ron?
It came in with the addendums and everything else right at $5 million. It's 4.973.
Okay, $5 million.
Right,
Okay.
it's $5 million more
Is
or
that an
less.
actual bid or that's a?
That's the bid.
That's it.
Okay.
That's the construction bid for the building itself. Now that's not the substation and the lift stations and forced mains and that kind of stuff.
Right.
We still think we think we got a pretty good hard number at about $2 million. We don't have any reason to believe that's going to drop a lot.
How about the land? Where are we with?
We got the land on
acquiring the
Monday.
land?
It's ours
done,
as of
finished?
Monday. It's a done
Okay,
deal.
Great. Good. That's all I got.
Any
And we
other
really
questions?
couldn't do, in terms of doing a lot of stuff, there was a lot we could not do until we actually owned the land. I couldn't send surveyors all over it and do environmental assessments and that kind of thing until we actually owned it, so.
Any further comments? Thank you, Mr. Sigler. Number 7.
Motion adjourned.
Motion by Mr. Thompson, second by Mr. Dempsey Lambert. Meeting adjourned.